bottle in my backwood. People banger when it's that good. Watch your head get to that hood. Yeah. My brody on the roof with a 16. Chopper in the bushes with a red beam. You done ran off with the wrong dope. Mini 14 got a long throw. I've been selling dope since the 10th grade. Nothing but critters over this way. Walking up talking that shit. Hey, me and my niggas like bitch. Hey, I've been selling dope since the 10th grade. Nothing but critters over this way. Walking up talking that shit. Hey, me and my niggas like bitch. Hey.
Yo, yet again, it's another week, another edition of Hood Money out here, you know what I'm saying? Late December's feeling better than early December, you know what I'm saying? But just like the weather, the winds are coming in a lot more than earlier this month, you know what I'm saying? Two more shiny W's. That got a total of 15 for the year, which is my minimum total. You know what I'm saying? Like we say, hood money. If I can't get you 10 wins, we ain't gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? But my 15, that's my minimum. And then of course, we racing to 40. But right now we at 15. But hey, we still got more to go. You know what I'm saying? Like I said last week, it's gonna be a lot of upsets, and it was. I just, I had to take some favors. It was a lot more upsets than I anticipated. It was still all good, as you can see from the recap board. You know what I'm saying? Playoff races are getting tight. This should pretty much have the spots all sealed by the end of this week, and everybody else should be eliminated and fighting for draft position after this week. And so, week 16, like I said, we got close. The Rams, them Thursday night games haven't been good for us at all. Rams came up short, losing by a point in overtime. The Seattle decided to go for two. The Chiefs couldn't beat the Titans, to get us that W. See how we, just missing barely, but the games, look solid before they get played. Yeah, they got Minshew actually got hurt in the first quarter, so they had to go with Ludicon, and he wasn't no good out there. They couldn't move the ball. Broncos fell at home, breaking their vicious streak. I mean, as you can see, we was right on it. You know what I'm saying? But then of course the last one didn't all the way work out for us. We didn't circle them, but our parlays, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we forget to do certain things, you know what I'm saying? But we're gonna get a W there. We're gonna get our W. We're gonna get our W's when we get our W's. You know what I'm saying? Because it was two W's, and even though it's not in purple, a W is still a W. You know what I'm saying? We right back with it, bang bang, as you can see. A W on the prop betting. That one didn't work out for us, and then a W on our new betting, our new college betting. Saw us get that W. Ole Miss was solid for us, and then of course the rest of those teams came through. It's gonna be another week of that, and my man from the streets, as you can see, I only missed one. My man from the streets only missed two. So that puts me up in the lead right now, 8-4-4. If you can see that. All right. So he's still up by a lot, but it's still a few games to go, and as he should be, because that's what he does. Calls those over unders for us. We appreciate him for that. You know what I'm saying? Got more coming later on in the show. Week 17. Week 17, like I said, it's a few big matchups. The penultimate week of the regular season to set it up for you guys, so you can start seeing what's all going on as far as what's going to happen in the coming weeks for the playoffs. All right, here we go. The big board. Big board is bigger than ever. It's maxed out, as you can see. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and take your time to look that over one time. You know what I'm saying? All right. We got early games. That's why we're bringing it to you early. Hopefully we get these picks to you before the 1 o'clock game, which is the Cowboys going on the road to play the Commanders, both teams out of the playoffs. It's going to be a lot of games like this, but there's still some value in these games, as I'll show you going forward. Cowboys -8.5. The early games haven't been kind to us Thursday, and it's 3 of them last time. It's 3 Thursday games. All the underdogs won, just to keep that in mind. But we think that trend will not continue. The Cowboys have been beating the Commanders pretty regularly. Even last year, they split with them when they were having that champion. They were on the run to the championship. This year, not the same. Mariota won't be playing. Jaden Daniels won't be playing. So they're going to look to Hartman and maybe Driscoll or somebody. They're going to throw somebody out there. The Cowboys, they, pretty their hopes are over with the all the things that happened last week. They were eliminated before they even got on the field and then lost the game. And this game, I see them winning though. I see them, still playing for pride like the Cowboys do. Cowboys are one of those teams that tank, and at this point of the season, you got to look for those teams that are still going to try to put something out there for their fans. I do see the Cowboys winning big here, both on the spread and the money line. All right, our next matchup will be the Lions and the Vikings. Lions and the Vikings, like I said, both teams. One is almost out of the playoffs, and the other one is definitely out of the playoffs. Lions trying to get a win and possibly hang in there with 2 Green Bay losses and 2 of their wins. They'll get that spot. The Vikings are out of it, but J.J. McCarthy's looking more and more impressive every week. 3 straight wins versus NFC East opponents, which is extremely tough to do. Took care of the Giants last week. Lions just they've been looking all right recently, but just haven't. Their record is actually decent. They just don't have the wins this year because of the wins you need to actually make the playoffs. I do see the Lions winning this game. The Lions will win this game. Like I said, they're not a team known for tanking either. This is a divisional matchup. Usually in those situations, both teams play pretty tough, no matter what the circumstances are. I would take the Lions on the money line, but I would take the Vikings to cover that 7.5 at home. All right, our next matchup, and I know you didn't see this coming, it's the Broncos. It's 13.5. They're going on the road to play the Chiefs, and the spread is 13.5. Like I alluded to earlier, the Chiefs lost Minshew, and already, like I said, Patrick Mahomes is already gone. And so they were going with Aluticon once again to see if he can do anything. He didn't muster much in last week against the lowly Titans, and the Titans took care of business, winning big. The Broncos suffered their first loss, home win, a big matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars. People think Jacksonville is going to do a lot of stuff. I'm not so sold on them quite yet, but they have beaten some pretty decent teams, including the Broncos, and they beat them on the road. And the Broncos once again are at home, and I believe that the Broncos will cover this spread. Oh, the Broncos on the road this week, but I believe they will cover this spread simply because, the Chiefs have pretty much given up on the season as far as this year is concerned. I believe that they're going to look forward to next year, hopefully getting their quarterback back early so they can make another run with the pieces they have remaining. All right, the next matchup will be a big matchup in the AFC. This has playoff implications, playoff positioning implications. It's the Texans, it's the Chargers. Both teams are most likely not going to win their division, but like I said, they could get that top spot, the 5th spot in the playoffs with a couple wins and a couple of other teams' losses. The Chargers with a big win last week. Both teams have been coming on recently. They've been doing a lot of winning, putting some unexpected wins together. I do see this being a close matchup. The bookie has it as a close matchup. I do see the Chargers pulling this game off at home. Chargers have been taking care of business recently, stringing together some big wins. And even though the Texans have been doing the same, and the Texans have a pretty strong defense, sometimes Stroud just tends not to show up for these big games. And this is going to be a big game. Jim Harbaugh will have his team coached up. The Chargers are looking to have a lot of momentum heading to the playoffs, so I would take them to win this close game, this close spread at home to cover that spread. Yes, to definitely cover that spread. All right, the next matchup we have the Ravens. Ravens going on the road to play the Packers. Ravens all but eliminated from the playoffs. Lamar Jackson is hurt with the back issue. Packers also hurt. Packers have their quarterback is also, he's in concussion protocol. Not sure if he's going to actually get the nod on Saturday. These are odd Saturday games we're into right now, by the way. I see this being an interesting game. more so for the Packers and the Ravens, simply because the Packers are trying to get improve their playoff positioning as well. Ravens are pretty much done for the season. They can't catch Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh just basically needs to win against Cleveland, and they wouldn't even the matchup next week wouldn't even count for much of anything. But with that said, I mean, anything can happen, and the spread is pretty tight. I do like the Packers in the battle of the two wounded teams. Don't see the Packers doing much going forward in the playoffs. They've just sustained too many injuries, both on the offensive and defensive side. But look to them for them to take care of business today. I would take the Packers on the money line. Next matchup, the Cardinals and the Bengals. Like I said, matchup with two teams not going to the playoffs this year, but still trying to do some things, still trying to work out some players, see what they got going forward for next year. Bengals are favored by 7.5 at home. Cardinals have been losing a lot lately. Kyler Murray, this might have been his last go-round with Arizona as a starting quarterback. Might see some backup work somewhere else, maybe a starting job somewhere else. Joe Burrow, after that speech last week where he was basically saying he just wants to win. That's all he wants to do. He's tired of losing. It's one of those situations like Matthew Stafford was in with Detroit, where the organization is just not a winning organization, and no matter how good you are, you might just actually have to move to another team. And as you see with Matthew Stafford, worked out great. So far, Joe Burrow is sticking to his team. Big win last week, looking to get another big win this week. Cardinals sustained another L. Probably will sustain a L this week. Like I said, they have young pieces they're just trying to put on the field to see what they got for next year. Bengals have a lot of veterans. Like I said, they're just not getting it done. I mean, this either they start off slow, finish hot and miss, or this year they start off hot and then Burrow got hurt and then they miss. But they will be missing the playoffs for another year. I would take them on the money line. I think a lot of points are going to be scored in this game. They could cover the spread, but I would definitely take Bengals on the money line. Which leads us to our next matchup, the Steelers-Browns matchup. Like I said, Steelers need this game to clinch the division. Browns still going with Shedeur Sanders. Has had mixed results as of late. The only team he's beaten is Oakland or Vegas Raiders right now, and looking to get a win versus another team. This would be a big win for him. They're at home. They do have some injuries on that offensive side of the ball. The Steelers also have some injuries. Looking to roll out Aaron Rodgers. He's been holding up pretty good. Like I said, they're going to have a winning record at the end of the year, so my prediction was wrong. 2 weeks ago, it looked like it could be right, but then they put together two wins against strong opponents, and there you have it. They are looking to clinch. They are favored by 3 points. I think they should be favored by more. I would definitely take the Steelers both on the spread and the money line, and if you get it to 5.5 and get some more plus money, I'd take 5.5 too. So yeah, that's Steelers on the road to take care of the Browns. As we move on to the Saints and the Titans. Saints on the road playing the Titans. Both teams have been coming on as of late. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because they are trying to see what they have out there, but they are running their draft position. Titans no longer with the inside track for the #1 seed. Still most likely will have a top 5 pick. Saints will most likely have a top 10 pick. Saints have been working out Tyler Slow. He's looked pretty decent, I gotta say. I didn't think he was actually going to be much of anything, even though they don't have much of a good record. He's been stringing together. He's strung together a couple W's, and the Saints probably will win this game. I mean, it's not going to be an exciting game. It's -2.5. You'll get to see Cam Ward and see how much he's progressed throughout the season. And like I said, you'll get to see that Tyler Slow if you're a Saints fan. I would take the Saints. Excuse me. I would take the Saints both with the spread and on the money line. Our next matchup is a big matchup. It will feature the Jaguars once again going on the road to play a tough opponent. This time, the opponent is only tough in terms of the record. It is the Colts. The Colts are currently on a 5-game slide. Will most likely finish on a 7-game slide. 7-8 game slide, 7-game slide, because they don't seem like they can get any W's at this point, even though Phillip Rivers has energized the team, gave them some juice going forward. As for the Jaguars, like I said, they've been winning against teams in ways they probably shouldn't win. The biggest one I remember was Kansas City when Trevor Lawrence fell on the ground and then got up and stumbled and then got up again and still made a play. That's never supposed to happen in the NFL due to the speed of the game. It just is supposed to be too fast for anything like that to happen. But they ended up winning that game, and they won a couple of other big games, and now they're going on the road, and I look for them to win this game. Seems like when they, play big teams, they win, but when they play Houston, of course Houston's good now, but I'm not gonna get too much into it. But everybody's talking about the Jaguars. They're gonna do this and do that. I still see them losing in the first round, whether they make the playoffs or not. They're gonna beat the Colts. I would take them on the money line. I wouldn't mess with that spread, simply because that is it's pretty heavy. It's a pretty heavy spread for the Jaguars. All right, the Buccaneers are going on the road to play the Dolphins. Buccaneers trying to hold on in NFC South, pretty much the worst division in the NFC. It's either them or the East. The Dolphins, they're out of it once again, but Mike McDaniel did put enough W's together probably to keep his job for next year. I'm going with Quentin Ewers once again. He didn't look that great, like I said, and he probably won't look great going forward. But until they figure out their quarterback situation, that's who they're going to go with. The Buccaneers need to win out to win their division, including beating the Panthers next week, because they did lose to them last week. Like I said, Panthers, that was one of my plus money winners. I just didn't see them winning it. They've lost 6 of the last 7 games. It was 5 out of 6 before that game. They just need to put together something to spark them and get them some momentum going into the playoffs. I do think they're going to win this game. I think they're going to win this game, and they're going to make it tough on Carolina, and it'll be a showdown for the NFC South next week when the Buccaneers play the Panthers at home. All right, our next matchup would be the AFC East matchup. Would be the Patriots and the Jets. Patriots trying to get that #1 seed right now. Jets are in the basement of the AFC East, as they have been for the past several years. Nothing has worked out for them this year, it seems like. Everything's worked out for the Patriots except for having that #1 seed. They're currently at #2, but a couple of losses by Denver, and if they keep winning, they could actually get it. I think they'll definitely get it this week. The spread is 13.5. I look for them to cover that spread. Like I said, the difference between them and the Broncos is they win big, so you can actually take these spreads. And the Broncos, when they barely win, so it's still, when they win, it's tough for gambling purposes. I would take the Patriots. I'd take the Patriots. Trevion Henderson may or may not play, but Ramondre Stevenson is a good backup, and then they still have all the other weapons. Diggs had a pretty big game last week. He'll most likely be getting more and more reps as the weeks go on, because he does have that good playoff experience. Look for them to take this game and to win it big on the road. All right, our next matchup would be the Seahawks going on the road to play the Panthers. Seahawks have been rolling as of late, and the Panthers, like I said, they're #1 in their division for right now. With a loss right here, will put them still #1 in terms of division. I don't know why they would have. If Tampa Bay wins and they lose, Tampa Bay would actually be on top, but don't know why, because in terms of the tiebreaker, it would actually be. It's going to be interesting to see if they finish with a tie and the Panthers have a better conference record. What's going to happen there? But for now, we have the Panthers, and they're at home, and they've been covering these spreads at underdog at home. They have a very good record covering spreads at home. Maybe not winning them, but covering them. They're pretty decent winning them also. And it's for that reason I'm going to take the Panthers plus money once again this week to cover that spread. Seahawks, look for Sam Darnold and the rest of that offense to get going, to put up a lot of points. I see the Panthers scoring right along with them, and it being an interesting game. Probably high score, one-score game. But yeah, definitely I would take the Panthers to cover. I would also take the Seahawks to win the game outright. All right, our next matchup is the matchup for the #1 pick for the draft in 2026. We have the Giants on the road versus the Raiders, AFC versus NFC. Both of them are deserving. Here's a fun fact: Giants have never had the #1 overall pick. Not once, not ever, which is actually pretty impressive when you look at how many Super Bowl wins they have and how many appearances they've been to. The Raiders have had that before, and hopefully, hopefully they stay within the top 2 picks, as the team that loses will also have to lose next week to ensure that they get that #1 pick. Both teams have a lot of injuries. The Raiders, they're going to put Brock Bowers on IR. They're going to still be rolling out the guys that have got them here to the record that they have. The Giants are going to use those replacement pieces that they've been using. Jackson Dart had a terrible game last week. It was an extremely low-scoring game. Cost me that over-under parlay. Figured both of those teams, between McCarthy and Dart, will put up a lot of points. It was a 16-13 game, very disappointing. But of course, like I said, he doesn't have the weapons that he had to start. This is an interesting game. This is a game that I would stay away from. Well, definitely stay away from. Definitely just look at it for fun, probably see the results, not actually to watch it. I would probably take the Raiders to win this game at home simply because they're at home and they have less injured players and they have more players with their jobs on the line at this point. All right, leads us to our last big matchup for the 4 o'clock slate. Would be the Bills going against the Eagles, playing at home, playing in that. It's going to be reasonably cool. It's not going to be very cold, but it's going to be chilly. It's going to be hitting weather. The Eagles are coming in shaky at this point of the season. They've exchanged wins with losses. They had a big win last week against the Commanders, took care of business. The Bills also took care of business, and they'll be looking to keep on trying to challenge the Patriots. If the Patriots should lose their last two and the Bills win their last two, they might even win that division. It's all going to be interesting, but it should be more sorted out by the end of this week. Bills, Josh Allen, you know what he does. Like I said, my playoff picks, my Super Bowl picks for 2026 is going to be Bills and it's going to be Niners. Bills, Niners. Who knows what's going to happen. I'm gonna get you that pick if you get that far. But for now, you know what I'm saying. I think that the Bills are timing up at home for the Eagles. They take care of business. Eagles already clinched the division right now. They assured a home playoff game. After that, who knows? But this is not the Eagles team of last year. Saquon has not been putting up the numbers that he did last year. Probably one goes with the other. I look for the Bills to take care of business at home, which leads us to Sunday night, a big matchup for the Niners. Niners play the Bears, both big matchup for both teams. Bears number 2 in their conference. The Niners is definitely they're right there. They both had the same record. The only thing is the Niners, like I said, if they win out, they win the number 1 seed, and they definitely have to beat the Bears to do that. And then in Seattle next week. The Bears, of course, they've been having a great season. They've been winning. They've been taking care of business. The new coach that came over from the Lions, Ben Johnson, has been doing a great job with those guys. Been coaching Caleb Williams up. I've been liking what I've seen out the team as a overall, and they've been looking good this year. It's going to be an interesting game. This is going to be a big matchup for the Niners. Niners had one of the weakest schedules in the league, which was good because they also had a lot of injuries this year, and so they've weathered that storm pretty good. Mac Jones came in, delivered a couple crucial W's. Everything's been rolling for the Niners, so for that reason, I'm going to take them at home. I would take them at home. And if you wanted to take the Bears, I'd probably tease that up to a half a point, as I think this game is going to be played within 3 points, with the Niners pulling it out in the end. But yeah, I would take the Niners on the money line, or I'd take the Bears and tease it up to 3.5. Which leads us to our last game of Week 17, which would be the Rams and the Falcons. Rams on the road. Falcons looked good early. You just talking about they were the team that everybody thought they were, and apparently they are, because they didn't make much noise after beating the Bills in prime time. This is another prime time matchup against a big opponent. And this time I look for different results. The Rams still have an outside shot to get their number 1, even though they lost last week, and that definitely hurt their chances. But if they went out and a couple of other things happen for them, they will end up with the number 1. So they have everything to play for right now. Still trying to get Adams back in the game after he was absent last week because of an injury. Trying to get him back healthy and rolling. Nakul looked good out there. Williams looked good. Parkinson and them, they all, they're still all there. They're still ready. They've been winning all year. Don't expect anything to change this week. As the Rams, I take them to win on the spread in this game. Which leads us to, everybody wants to know, what are the parlays looking like for this week? And just like I tell you, every week, we got adjust. There's always something new out here. Sometimes something unexpected. Sometimes, but every time, it's going to look like something. It's going to look like something. And with that in mind, we got the Steelers in the spread. We got the Jaguars with the money line. We got the Cowboys with the spread. We got the Rams on the money line. We got the Niners with the money line. We got the Panthers with the spread. We got the Bengals on the money line, and we got the Patriots with the spread. All right, our third parlay We got the Packers on the money line. We got the Bills with the spread. We got the Chargers with the spread. And we got the Lions on the money line. And that fourth parlay, we went on ahead. We took the Seahawks on the money line. We took the Rams on the money line. We went back with the Steelers on the money line. And we went back with the Cowboys on the money line. All right, anytime touchdown scoring props. We got CMC for San Francisco, McCaffrey. We got Kyron Williams for the Rams. We went ahead with Josh Jacobs and Jahmyr Gibbs, two of our old faithfuls for this year. Pretty good results over under for prop bet. On this other side, we got James Cook here. We got Saquon Barkley. We went back with R.J. Harvey, got us that crucial touchdown. And we're going to go with George Pickens, Dallas receiver. Our over-unders for this week are as such. My man from the streets has a lot of unders and one over, like last week. Miami, under Miami and the Patriots, under in San Francisco and the Bears, over in the Chargers in Houston, and under in Baltimore and Green Bay. All right, I have a lot of overs, all overs. Over Seattle, Carolina, over Washington, Dallas, over Cincinnati, Arizona, and over in the Rams and Atlanta. For the college football playoff, we got 4 new teams. These are the 4 teams on the bye, like 3 out of 4 of them to get those W's and head to the semifinals. As you can see, Miami is playing Ohio State, Oregon is playing Texas Tech, Alabama is playing Indiana, Ole Miss is playing Georgia. I just feeling those new teams. Ohio State probably the best team going right now in terms of talent. They have Carnell Tate, they have Jeremiah Smith, they have Bo Jackson, and they a running back named Bo Jackson, and they also have a pretty good quarterback than Julian Sand. Not great, but pretty decent to get them the ball. I look for in college playoffs. I look for Ohio State and Indiana to make it all the way through. Next one, which leads us to Texas Tech, who had that 4th seed. Texas Tech is an interesting team. Great defense, great offense, top 10 in both, and that plays well. That always plays well in any league. So that's going to be good for them going forward. They're going to be playing Oregon. And Indiana has Heisman winner Mendoza. A lot of people think he's going to the Las Vegas Raiders. Who knows? And like I said, they beat a lot of teams this year. I only had 1 loss. They ended up with that number 1 seed. Looks good. And Georgia, of course, Georgia's a mainstay in the college playoffs. They have Stetson Bennett out there, the quarterback, pretty decent quarterback. I like him. He probably won't come out this year, but he's going to keep Georgia in a lot of games, and he might end up winning the championship. All right. Here we go. Parlay number 1, Ohio State. Taking Ohio State on the spread. I'm taking Indiana on the spread. I'm taking Georgia on the money line, and I'm taking that over in the Alabama and Indiana game. Second parlay, I like Texas Tech. Take out Oregon. I like Miami to go over in the Miami Ohio State matchup. I also like Ohio State. I'm going to take them on the money line. College a little different. I'm going to go ahead and take them on the money line. Keep it under 10, and it's not 9.5, so that's just where I need it. And I'm going to take the under in the Texas Tech and Oregon game. So there you have it. And Stetson could be like Carson Beck. Get him 1-2. Who knows? Carson Beck, as you know, is still in it. Who knows how long he'll be in it? That's my first quarterback off the board if I was drafting. All right, there you go. Week 17 has come to a close, you know what I'm saying? Hey, we're looking forward to these last games. We're looking forward to these playoffs. Sure, we want to hit a clear board. We want to clear that whole board one time. That'd be the ultimate right there. Get all them things off the board and get them W's all in at one time. But hey, if you've been watching every week, you know if you had 1 or 2 teams loaded, you know you should be good by now. Like people been telling me, they giving me good feedback. So I appreciate that. Appreciate the comments, feedback. The likes, subscribe to us all the time if you like, some of the time if you need, just, whenever you want, you know what I'm saying? We be here for that. We're going to close out December like that. Hope y'all have a good new year, because that's the next time we're going to be with y'all, 2026. And hey, who knows, by then, hey, we should have more W's. And hey, Benny Boone say like he usually do, let's get this money.